I like to suffer. I like suffering. I mean, for me, being scared, having pain, feeling moody or even depressed, all those negative things and darkness inside yourself, those are the triggers for me to create anything. I mean, I suck all that shit and I put it in a nice place and I make something nice out of that. And I've been doing that all my life. That's how I feel comfortable.
Welcome to Object, Subject, Form, a series of conversations exploring the human side of creativity at the evolving intersection of art, technology, and finance. This conversation was recorded live in Mérida, Yucatán, where I sat down with the founder of Paradiso, Héctor Ayuso. Paradiso, going into its second year, reimagines what a creative gathering can be: intimate, immersive, and rooted in human connection. Prior to this, Héctor founded OFFF in Barcelona in 2001, which has since grown into the largest international gathering celebrating contemporary creativity while exploring the future of the global creative industry. In this episode, Héctor shares the deeper motivations behind his work, why we should always be in the pursuit of what brings us joy, and the importance of challenging ourselves to avoid getting too comfortable. He speaks openly about the role of therapy in his journey and why human connection sits at the core of his work.
Héctor, thank you for providing this platform to be able to have these conversations. I think many people have benefited from the 3 days. And so congratulations. I just want to say thank you for putting this on and for bringing us all here to Mérida. And yeah, round of applause, I think. And this is the first recording with an audience of this podcast. I started it about a year ago. And as you know, it's all about exploring the human side of the creative process that goes beyond just the final output or the end result or what we see on the screen. And so you guys are my test subjects for this kind of format to see how it does going on the road. And so what I've realized is no matter how much advice or mentors we have in our life, when it comes down to it, we're left to our own devices and it's just us with our laptops and our screens and our Wacom tablets. And, you know, the creative process internally is not something that's always spoke about. This journey was also a personal challenge to get over my own imposter syndrome also of speaking in public. And it's been definitely a journey even adjusting to the sound of my own voice. And understanding how to do something like this was a pretty big challenge for me outside of the day-to-day. We're often behind the camera, right? Mm-hmm. So, Héctor, you know, I came here with a list of questions for you. And I saw you outside signing the books. And you said to me, you're going to change everything that you thought you were going to ask me. That did happen. And so when I started to read the book and I realized that I was pretty screwed. I mean, like the depth of that book, I skim read it, but I read enough to understand a little bit more about you and your process and your life. By frantically in the 2 hours leading up to this conversation, I went and rewrote a lot and restructured it. When I read that you like people to come and shed their skin, so I have a little bit more of a different structure to talk to you about, but I really appreciate you sharing all of your insights and being real about your story. I think that you and Ben really created a masterpiece. It's often poetic at times. And this is the book, if, you know, everyone hasn't seen it, the reason you're doing it. And I think your reason, which we'll get to, is really important for people to hear. These experiences and inner dialogues or something that I really try to account for in every single episode, everything from imposter syndrome to reputation equity to mentorship, everything that goes on behind the camera. So thank you again for, you know, making this possible and to have this conversation. You know, let's get into it. My first question for you would be, who is Héctor Ayuso?
That's the most difficult one. I don't know. The crazy guy. That's how I like it. Mm-hmm. That's how I like people to call me. The crazy guy. Because I feel like I can see myself in that expression. I've always been afraid of being crazy, like real crazy. And then I realized, because I've been in therapy for more than 30 years of my life, and I realized that when someone says that I'm crazy, that means that it's the most healthy one mentally. You're realizing what's happening to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I get called like this, like, yeah, Héctor is a crazy guy that has these crazy ideas all the time and is capable to do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's Héctor Ayuso. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the truth. I don't have a title. I don't want to pretend to have a title because I don't like that. I mean, someone was asking me before when I was signing the book, did you do motion graphics? And why is that important? Of course I can do motion graphics and I can lay out books, which is something I love to do. But it's a hobby. It's something that I just enjoy doing it and I enjoy the process. But that's not who I am, definitely.
You don't let it define you. So you don't let your work define who you are?
No, never.
Even the events that you put on and bringing people together?
No. It's what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I'm doing it. Because I want to make happy everyone and I want everyone to feel like I feel all the time. And every single thing that it makes me happy, even if it's just a tiny thing, maybe just a song or whatever it is. It's always the same feeling, like immediately, like I have this urge of sharing it, everyone, and I translate that to every single thing in my life, whatever it is.
So a big theme in what I read was human connection.
Mm-hmm.
Why is human connection so important to you?
Because I didn't have any when I was a kid. I was alone, and I was lost, and I had no one with me. And I guess it comes from there.
Yeah. And so bringing people around, would you say it kind of fulfills what was missing in the past?
I guess in an unconscious way, probably. It's funny because someone that has been so closed and with so many difficulties connecting with people, and I never had friends at the school. Most of my classmates actually hate me, and I got beat many times because I was the weirdo. But then I dedicated my life to this, which is probably quite the opposite.
Right.
Putting me in front of thousands of people and just putting people together and making things happen, basically. I mean, I just created a new project because I just connected two persons that they never met each other in the restaurant, and I put them together, I made them talk, and now they're going to work together for a project for a sphere.
Yeah.
I love creating these magic moments, you know.
Between other people, connecting, and seeing what comes from it.
Yeah, and I know it's not for me, and I don't look for that. I just love the joy of creating that for someone else.
And creating for lack of a better term to say, a platform like this, I would assume you have to be quite outgoing, almost like an extrovert and a people person. And you have to like people, right? And you have to deal with everyone here asking the questions, sending the emails. Like, I can't imagine like how much work that is. I think it was, how long was it that it took you to actually craft this? Was it about a year?
To do Paradiso?
From start to finish to get it.
Yeah, a year.
Would you say that you are an extrovert? Would you say that's a gift that you've had from a child, or?
No, I'm not.
No, not at all. So how do you deal with so many people?
Because I know it's weird. I love it. I just love to do this. But I'm extremely shy. I'm not comfortable right now.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Neither am I. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm never comfortable. It's okay.
But at the same time, I love to do it. I mean, it's like tattoos.
Yeah. It's pushing
I
yourself.
got this tattoo last night, and it's been the worst pain in my life ever. I will never do it again. Ever. No way. But I have to do it. I just need to do it.
Why?
I like to suffer. I like suffering. I mean, for me, being scared, having pain, feeling moody or even depressed, all those negative things and darkness in yourself, inside yourself, those are the triggers for me to create anything. I mean, I suck all that shit and I put it in a nice place and I make something nice out of that. And I've been doing that all my life. That's how I feel comfortable.
Do you feel like everything that you create or that you craft and put together, you need to go through some level of suffering or breakthrough, like a threshold of pain, to feel like you've actually produced something that you're happy with?
Yeah, it is my process.
I agree with that. I think, being creative, there's a lot of long hours. There's a lot of stress, a lot of pain trying to come up with those ideas. Could be 2 a.m., 4 a.m. A lot of us here, I know we've been up until 6 o'clock in the morning, watched the sunrise. And I feel like you have to almost go through that to almost get into this kind of flow state to be able to push through that boundary, to then be able to almost receive those ideas to come down into your mind, which I do believe is existing around us all the time. And I think everybody has different degrees of pain threshold when it comes to creativity. And I think when you push through that, whatever that means to you, whether, I was reading an article about, someone was saying when they go on a run and you're pushing through, you've done 1 mile, 2 miles, and you want to get to like 8 miles or 10 miles. Once you get past that threshold, you're kind of in a flow state. And I liken that to the creative process in some way. So I definitely relate to what you're saying. And so I think some people who might listen to this, who maybe are not part of our design community or motion design or graphic design, may not know what OFF is. I think that many of us do. I think many of us have attended OFF at least once in our life. I have a confession. I went in 2007 in New York, I believe it was.
Okay.
And I haven't been. But after that, that's my confession too. Huh?
That was the only one?
That was the only one I went, and I feel terrible now sitting here in front of you saying that. But but it was an amazing time. It was great.
It was.
I think work just got the better of me.
Never happened again, but...
So would you mind just summarizing what OFF was and what it meant to you, and some of the growth pains and challenges that you went through?
Like many of the things that I've been doing in my life, OFF came from a vital need that I had myself. I was working on Flash back then. We're talking about the late 90s, early 2000. I was doing Flash all the time, websites with Flash. But I studied cinema, and that's what I truly love, and I still love today. That's still my passion, even if I'm doing all this. And then I realized that some people was doing or using Flash as a tool for narrative, and they were doing short films like Tim Burton or Radiohead. They were doing video clips with Flash. So I had this idea, okay, this is the tool I'm using every day, so maybe that could be something that I can use to tell my own stories. And then I started playing with it and doing things on my own. And then I realized that there is no place or anywhere where I can show these things. So there's no market, there's nothing. And obviously I'm not Tim Burton, so no one's going to care about what I'm doing. So I realized, okay, maybe I can create a festival where we can show films that were created just with Flash. So that's what most people doesn't know, but the original name from OFF is Online Flash Film Festival. which is horrible. Good thing I realized that very quickly that that wasn't a good idea. But anyway, that's how I started. I was creating something for myself, basically. And I had a lot of heroes back then, people that I admired, and I really wanted to work with them or do things with them. So I invited them to be the jury of my online festival, because that was the original idea. It was going to be exclusively online.
Yeah.
So I invited David Carson, which is here today, or Joshua Davis, that's also here. And it was Joshua who sent me an email. I mean, all of them replied super quick and said yes. And Joshua told me, look, why don't you bring us all to Barcelona and we just give a talk and we get all together? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And then I start saying yes to everyone, but then I realized, okay, but what's next? What I'm supposed to do now? I said yes, but what comes next? I have no idea, obviously. I never have done an event before. My roommates had no idea about anything that I was doing. But still, I found an auditorium. I started buying flights with no money. We were 800 people in the first year.
Wow.
And that's how it born. I had a huge, massive debt the first year, another one in the second year, then another one. And
did you have a partner at the time, like in business?
No, I was alone. Again, like I said, my partners, my roommates were helping me, but they had no clue about anything. They weren't even related to design at all. No, I was alone. And I didn't have a real partner until 2008 when I met Pep. But yeah, I was on my own, learning.
Winging it.
Like now. Yeah. I mean, we're here doing Paradiso for the first time and I'm still learning. Yeah.
But do you feel like you're taking some of the learnings from OFF and bringing it to Paradiso?
Yes and no. I mean, of course, what I take from OFF, it's my baby, will always be my baby. But what I'm trying to do with Paradiso, I mean, I got too comfortable with OFF. It was too easy and I lost inspiration. And like I said before, I need to be anxious. Yeah. I need to feel like I don't know what to do. Yeah. I don't know how to do it. So when I get comfortable, then I get away. I just need to run away as fast as possible.
Okay. Do you feel? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Do you feel did OFF grow into something that was? Do you feel like it got too big?
It's not about OFF. It's more about me. I mean, the problem is not OFF. OFF is amazing, and it will be amazing always. I mean, it's a huge, massive event. It's a huge brand. I'm really proud of it. And of course, I want OFF to continue as many years as possible. And it makes a purpose. But the problem was me. Okay. I mean, I lost the track, and I just wanted to break all the rules that I created myself with OFF.
Like reinvent yourself almost.
Everything. Yeah. Like what happens, I mean, if you don't question yourself, what's the point of doing anything, honestly? I mean, it's too easy. And yeah, we can do it every day, every year. We can do it in the same way. It's safe. You're going to make money. People's going to come.
Mm-hmm. But rinse and repeat.
Yeah, that's the point. So I just start asking myself, what can I do to make it more difficult? What can I do to feel scared,
But some people just wouldn't want that. Like there's something about staying content and in the comfort zone.
I just need it. Look, there is a sentence on Interstellar that Matt Damon says, which is, the biggest source of inspiration is survival instinct. I just need that. I just need to feel like I'm just gonna go down on the edge and crash in the rocks because I need that feeling all the time.
And so, speaking of Paradiso, if you had to describe the difference between OFF and Paradiso in one word, what would that be?
I don't like that. No, because they're like two completely separate worlds. And honestly, in this community that we live in. At least from my side and from my perspective, I really love to work with everyone, and I really love to be friends of everyone. And I actually am friends of every single person that is organizing events or design events or design conferences in the world.
Yeah.
And most of them, and some of them at least, are here today with me because I invited them all, and I paid them the flight and everything because I want them to be here.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's really important that we are all together. We have the same purpose at the end of the day. I'm just taking the risk of doing it in just a different way and just putting the seeds of something new. I mean, I just had a conversation before with Gilles. Gilles has been doing an event in Belgium called Kick for many, many years, and we were friends. And he's here and he's enjoying and he's so happy. And he told me, look, Héctor, you just put in the path for us to find out how to do things differently.
Yeah.
So someone has to take the step and take the risk. Right. If no one does it, everything is going to look the same.
Yeah.
I hate that.
And you say that you did it a lot for yourself, right? Like self-realization. But was there anything that you saw like that was missing from what you were doing, or missing in the community in a way?
Yes.
Like a need for something.
Definitely. Many people have been telling me that for years now, that they missed the early days, they missed the messiness, the chaos, the feeling that you don't know what's going to happen, but at the same time you don't even care what's going to happen. That's what you can see right now in the next to this room. This one, it's more controlled. Yeah. But again, I just had the same conversation with Joshua Davis, and he was telling me, what do you think people is feeling today? And I'm like, look, people keep telling me, I'm not going to go back being the same person anymore.
Yeah.
This already changed my life, and it's been only 2 days. And I just want to come back, and I'm dying to come back, and because I miss to connect with people, to feel
the
like
physical,
the human side of every single person here, beyond whatever happens, and beyond any activities or anything that is part of the program. And yeah, we were talking about that and remembering the first years, the early years of OFF, and how we were all together all the time. I mean, you know how many people told me in the last few years, look, Héctor, how is that possible that we came to OFF and we didn't see your face? And that's sad. It's really sad that someone has to send you an email after a week and tell you, look, I've been at OFF and I never saw you, I never met you in person.
It lost the intimacy.
Yeah.
I think it's something that's needed. I mean, when we spoke before coming over here, it really made me look at, and I have been thinking about this a lot, the way that technology is evolving, right? And the way that we are becoming, I think technology is connecting us a lot in a way, but it's also disconnecting us a lot at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we can check in with people on social media. We can have our Zoom calls where, we've got work from home. You don't have to be in the office anymore. So you're losing some of that interaction. So, what will help replace that? Is there going to be anything where we can do this? And so the timing of, it was Peter that, he showed me what was happening with Paradiso and invited me, and I looked more into it. And I thought this is the perfect time for something like this, with the additional disconnect that I think a lot of us, definitely speaking for myself, experience on the day-to-day.
I agree, but there's a thin line where, for me, look, I've been doing something the last year, working for Paradiso, that I never had done it before, and I couldn't do it without the technology. So I think it's important that we have the tools that we have and we can use them. But for me, again, it's like the book says, is the reason why you're using it or the reason why you're doing it. So my point is, creating an event can be an easy thing or can be like a really hard thing to do. It depends on how you want to do it. So picking names, it's easy. almost anyone can do it.
Yeah.
If it's part of the creative community, right? Because we all know
Each other. Yeah.
everyone. And I can see it, and I see it many times. I'm not going to name anyone, but you see the lineups and you see the names. So that's the easy part. But then there's the hard part, which is you take care of the creating side of something like a job, like something that is actually a job. It's something that you have to take care of, and you have to think about it. And there's a reason why you're going to pick those names. It's not just, okay, I'm just going to do my Christmas tree, and I'm going to get the perfect Christmas tree. No, I don't want the perfect Christmas tree. I want the right one.
Intentional.
Yeah. But then comes the next part, which is the thing that I've been doing the last year, which is I'm going to work with everyone. That means having calls every single day with every single person that's going to be here today, because I want to make sure that they understand where they're going. Because again, if I pick the name and I just invite someone and they come and
don't even speak to them and they just arrive and
and then there's no purpose for it. So I really did that, and I had many calls with absolutely everyone. I try to explain them what I'm trying to do and why, especially why I'm doing it. So I make sure that when they come here, they know that this is exactly what is supposed to happen and why it's supposed to happen. That's a job.
Why 200 people?
I don't know. Look, it was easy. I knew that I wanted to do it in Salon Gallos because I was here 3 years ago in this same room giving a talk, and I fell in love with this place, and I fell in love with Mérida and the people from Mérida and everything. I mean, my weekend 3 years ago was absolutely perfect, and I wanted to recreate that. So once I decided that I wanted to do it here, I asked the partners from Salon Gallos, and I asked them a very simple question, which is, how many people can I put in this place?
The maximum.
Yeah, legally. Yeah. And they give me a number, and I say, okay, I'm going to do half of that.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that people can be comfortable. And at the same time, at least for this year, we're not going to lose that intimacy that I'm looking for. So it's fine if we are 20, 15 today here. It's fine. We're comfortable. We have AC.
Exactly.
We are having a nice conversation. We don't need the full room. Maybe we'll have it next year, but...
Right. Why Mérida?
Like I said before, my first time was 3 years back. A very good friend of mine that gave a talk today in the other room, Carlos from Bienal, he invited me, and he picked me up in the airport with an awesome truck he has. And he took me everywhere during 4 days. We did this, and then he took me to the beach and have amazing food. I don't know, it was just this, when you experience something that is just magical, and you know that you're not going to forget it ever again. And it's part of your memories, and you create those memories for yourself. And then there's another component that I'm going to repeat it again. I love these things, when this happy accident. I was in the same room 3 years ago, and I told my wife right there that I was in love with her.
In this room?
She didn't know. And then we got married 3 months later.
Did you get married here?
No, in Barcelona.
Okay.
In Barcelona.
Okay.
I was just asking, I got married here, I think I told you, right? A year ago. So yeah, it's very special. I think we were looking for different places, and we came to Mérida a year before to check it out, and we felt the magic and just the beauty of Yucatán, really. And so we signed up and didn't look back.
Didn't change our minds.
There's another component of this choosing Mérida, which is, for me, doing Paradiso, it was important to make it difficult to come here.
Is that like a filter, or to see if people really want to come?
No, not a filter. Yeah. You have to make the effort.
No, I know some people it's 28 hours to come from Poland.
I know. but that's fine.
Yeah. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You have to suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want all of us to suffer.
I went to the airport at 3 a.m. to pick up someone myself because I knew that their flight was delayed for 5 hours and I felt bad because of that.
Yeah.
I asked my producers, can you send the car to my hotel first because I want to go personally and welcome them and I'm going to give them the keys of the hotel and take them to the bed, literally. Yeah, I take care of people.
Yeah, we feel that. I think everyone can say that. We felt like pretty taken care of being here. Yeah. So how much did the physical location, I know like Salon Galeos, of course, but the physical location of Mérida inspire any of this? Like the aesthetics, the way that you organized it? Did it have an influence? I mean, just looking here, being here myself, the architecture, the food, the taste,
I guess so, yeah. And it's also part of the no identity that
which you
Paradiso
spoke about
has,
before,
which
yeah.
is, people keep asking me for Paradiso logo. You have one here, but
I asked you for, yeah.
I don't know how many logos I have already in my folder that says Logos Paradiso. There's many of them.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, who the fuck cares? I mean, for me, the brand is just Paradiso. It's what's happening here. That's the brand of Paradiso. Who cares about the logo? And I love the walls, and that's why we're projecting images over the real wall of this place. Because it has beauty. I mean, like Carlos, my friend, keeps telling me, like, dirtiness, it's beauty. And it is.
In the imperfections.
And I love the brand is no logo, right? The brand is the no brand. Mm-hmm. Because what happened is everybody interpreted the brand in their own way. And so you get the identity of everyone that's here injected into the brand of Paradiso, whether that's intentional or not intentional. It feels like everyone was a part of it by communicating Paradiso in their own way. Yeah. I think was really beautiful, which is probably why you have all the hundreds of logos. So moving on to something I again, what I read in the book, your body seems like it's you use it as your canvas. I mean, you were outside yesterday. The tattoo took 3 hours on your head. You said, you experienced the most pain you had in your life. What is the significance of the tattoos on your body? Specifically, I read about the Mexican tree of life. Mm-hmm. What is the significance of that, and why do you use your body as a canvas?
I was trying to find a way to start. I gained weight while I was working for OFFF the first years, and at some point I was like 120 kilos, which is big. And I don't know, I just started having a lot of back problems, and some days I couldn't even stand up from the bed. And then one day that I was literally in bed because I couldn't move at all. And someone came to my house to give me a massage to try to fix me. And that guy told me, look, if you don't do something with your body, you're just going to suffer the rest of your life. And you're not going to move in the right way ever again. And then like many times in my life, when I take a decision, it's like an extreme one. So I got up the next day, I went to a gym and I asked, I want a nutritionist and I want a personal trainer because I want to lose weight. And I want to lose weight fast. And I lost 48 kilos in 6 months.
Wow.
And then I decided to celebrate that. I had no idea. I never thought about having a tattoo, honestly, ever in my life. But then I decided to celebrate losing weight with a tattoo. And so I got a tree of life, a Mexican tree of life, in my belly. And then I couldn't stop anymore. And I kept getting more and more and more.
You said something really important. You went to find a nutritionist. You realized that your health was on the line. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to, I think it was Common mentioned this a couple of months ago. There was an interview and he was talking about the fact that athletes have nutritionists. They have oftentimes sports psychologists, right? They're performing at the highest level. So they're looking into the food, their health, obviously, because they're performing on the field, whether it's basketball, football, whatever. And artists don't have that because, you know, our job a lot of the time is sitting down, but we do have to perform at a really, really high level. And a lot of the time, you know, it can, you know, your mind can get caught up, you know, the stress, you can get depressed. You can have creative lapses where you just go into a spiral of not being able to create, which can then further put you into some form of depression. I think a lot of us don't have even the idea of trying to find, you know, nutritionists or therapists. And I read that, you know, therapy is a big part of your life. Mm-hmm. There were reasons why you decided to search for a therapist at certain points in your life. Would you say that it's important for creatives to incorporate therapy into their creative practice?
I think it depends on the person, but I mean, if I have to say, from my experience, yeah, therapy, it's really helpful, even if you don't have any issues. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, I think everyone has some issues at some level, everyone. So, I mean, I took the decision to go to therapy in a really dramatic way, but it's been part of my life and my process until 6 years ago, when I took the decision that I was good and I didn't need it anymore. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
How did it play a role in your life? Like, what was some of the reasons why you searched out therapy?
Why I searched therapy? Okay, we're going there.
If you want to,
of course. My father was an abused one, and he beat my mom many times. My brothers, I was the one that wasn't a victim of the situation, the violence and everything. I was like the favorite one. And I think that probably fucked me up even more. But yeah, I come from a family with this kind of issues, and my dad at some point tried to kill my mom like 2 times in front of myself. And that created a consequence, which it was different from my brother, my old brother, and my younger sister. In my case, I had many mental issues since 9 years old. At some point, I couldn't go out from my house at all. I was closed in my room all the time. I tried to kill myself a couple of times. And then I learned from, at least that's how I remember my experience. Yeah. Because I used to watch movies from Woody Allen like obsessively every single day, like many, many times. So in my conscience, somehow, I created a story where I realized through him that what I needed was therapy. So one day, all of a sudden, because I was completely desperate, I didn't know what to do, I took the phone book, which they don't exist anymore, and I searched the closest therapist to my home that was right next to my hometown, like at 2 kilometers from my house. So I went on my own. I took money from my mom without saying anything. And I literally knocked on the door and said, I need help.
Wow.
And then the guy, which is called Jaime, he took care of me for 6 years. He called my mom and he told her, look, your son is here. You have to come. I need to explain you what's going on.
Yeah.
She never accepted what's happening.
You didn't want to believe it.
She didn't want to believe it. But she said she agreed to pay for it, but she never accepted that I was actually having problems.
So that took a lot of self-awareness to actually take yourself to therapy that I think at a young age, a lot of people don't have. So where did that self-awareness come to actually do that and look through the phone book yourself? Because it's not a story that you hear a lot. You know, normally it's somebody else that's recommending you to go. But I guess you said that you found it through film.
I honestly don't remember. I have the moment of looking for it, like it's super vivid in my head.
Yeah.
I can see it right now. Literally, I can see it. But how I got there, I'm not so sure. But at the same time, I know that was the trigger of my own creativity. Mm-hmm. And that's where probably I started to use suffer, pain, and darkness as a fuel for my creativity.
Wow.
I learned from that.
Would you say that creativity became an escape mechanism?
I guess so.
Yeah. Like the outlet.
Mm-hmm.
You said that, if we talk about your childhood quickly, that you actually thanked your parents for the pain that they inflicted on you. And how would you say that pain has created the man that you are today?
I mean, because it is. I mean, look, my life was absolutely projected. I mean, I had my path because I come from a small town of 3,000 people population, which is nothing, obviously, and everyone knows to each other. And my family was the owners of the only supermarket of the town. So when you live in a place like this and no one talks about what happens and everyone wants to hide what happens at home,
very familiar.
you know, your life is just a line, a straight line where you already know what's going to happen. Yeah. So you're going to work in the supermarket, you're going to get married with whoever woman you meet in your town, and you're going to have kids. And I could see that at some point, and I knew that it was my life, and I probably was comfortable with that, even though there was a side of myself that, again, it was obsessed with movies, and I was buying books all the time and reading about cinema all the time. I never realized that that's what I wanted to do until the day that my girlfriend back then, that we were together for 6 years, and I was supposed to marry with her. All of a sudden, she decided to, she fell in love with another guy. And that click, again, was the trigger for me to say, okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going on. I'm going out from here. I mean, I'm done. I'm going to leave my family. I'm going to leave my town. I'm going to leave everything, and I'm moving to Barcelona.
Because you already saw the story that was kind of laid out for you in a way.
Yeah. And I went against everyone, including my own therapist.
Wow. So you got advice not to do that?
He told me not to do it. He asked me to finish my school, to stay and get better. And I said, no, I need this.
Do you think he was probably projecting his own limits potentially on you?
He was acting like a father.
Yeah.
He was trying to take care of me. But then I moved to Barcelona, and the first thing I did once I arrived to Barcelona was search for a therapist.
Another one.
And then I met Olivia. She's been my therapist for 25 years.
She's still with you? Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore.
Okay.
So did you have any significant mentors besides therapists? Mm-hmm. But like any significant mentors in your life that helped you, navigate things that you were going through or your creative journey?
Movies and music.
Movies
always. Yeah. Especially movies.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes the greatest mentors are the ones that you don't know or that don't know you. And that can be in the form of, reading. Now we have obviously YouTube, internet. I mean, we get mentored by anybody. You don't have to necessarily have that physical connection.
No, not really. I mean, I always got inspired. Most of the things I do come from music or cinema all the time.
And you have like this love for, like, it seems like feeling alive, right? Like you're always feeling like there's some kind of barrier to push through, some kind of almost, I would say, like danger or risk. What would you say is like the biggest risk that you've taken on your journey? Like it could be creative life. Is it moving from your town?
I don't know. Moving from my town to Barcelona?
Yeah.
No, that was exciting. It never felt like a risk. No, a risk is just dropping everything and deciding to almost start from scratch again. That's maybe a risk. I mean, when I announced officially or publicly that I was dropping off, I got many job offers and some good ones, like crazy ones. And I decided to go through the process with one of them because I never experienced that, and I wanted to feel it, like how I would feel doing something like this or working for a big company. So I went through the process and I actually got the job. They sent me the offer and everything, and then once I got the offer, I said, okay, I'm done. I don't want it. I'm good.
Forget it. Too easy.
They didn't. They chased me for a few weeks to convince me.
Yeah.
But that was fine because then I realized that that's not for me. I mean, I already knew because I never worked for anyone in my life, but that was fun to experience. But then you say, okay, you have a big check and, amazing conditions. You're going to move to X city, whatever. And my wife was actually excited to move in. Yeah. But I said, no, you know what? I want to do Paradiso.
Yeah. That's going to be the baby.
We don't have the money. We don't have anything, but it's fine. We'll find a way.
I mean, I just love how you just push through. Like just not having any concept of how to do something and not even having the finances. I mean, those are the things that really, I think, prevent a lot of really good, amazing ideas from even seeing the light of day. And you just go and do it.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? I mean, I'm learning a lot from you not to have that fear
that's
of pushing through.
That's the best sentence in the world. Why not?
I need that t-shirt. That's the next Paradiso t-shirt. Do you feel like with the way the world is now that there's a lot more space for events, gatherings like this? Like, do you feel like, again, going back to automation a little bit, thinking about how I was at South by Southwest before I came here on Monday, and I went to a talk, and it was like the great rethinking and like how to navigate the future of work. And the topic was about how in the future we could potentially, like employees and large companies could actually cut down working hours by 60 to 70%, right? Which would then allow people to have 30 to 40% more of their spare time to do their creative endeavors. Now, obviously, that will come with probably some financial sacrifice, but he was saying that there will be healthcare provided and there will be benefits. But it made me think now, connecting the dots from what he said and then coming here and seeing this experience, that might be a good thing to be able to now have that time for everybody that, wants to have more time to appreciate and to push through with their creative endeavors that they don't actually get the time to do. Because when we're at full capacity, working 120% of the time, it's very difficult to achieve those personal projects. So do you feel like there's more of a space for that now?
I think so, but there is another side of that, which is, and I know that this is going to sound like, you're just talking about yourself and your own experience, but at least the way I see it, if you're happy with what you're doing, this doesn't make any difference if you work 20 hours per day or just 4 hours per day, because you're doing something that you love and it makes you happy. I think for me that is more important than actually having your own space and your own time for yourself. Of course, it's part of the process of almost everyone, but again, at least from my experience, and I keep saying this in every single talk I give anywhere, if you're not happy with what you're doing, just leave it. Seriously, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, or just leave it. Find something that makes you feel proud of what you're doing.
Inspired. Yeah. Burnout is a big thing. I think, to your point, you can get burnt out from not enjoying what you're doing. Right? It may not be the hardest thing in the world, but you can still get mentally burnt out. And, if somebody was to kind of ask you, like, what are the things that you could turn to if you're feeling burnt out or disconnected, what would you say people could do to try and navigate that?
Just find your own journey. Like, find those small tools or things that just gives you joy. That's all. I mean, it's so simple. I mean,
You make it sound simple, but
it is simple. At the end of the day, I mean, it is simple. Maybe it's just laying down. That's something I do almost every day. I just lay down on the couch and maybe I can spend 3 hours straight just with my headphones, listening to music, and probably someone will look at me and say, "What the fuck are you doing? I mean, did you work at all?" Or, I'm actually working. I'm not doing anything, but I'm working. Or when I go with my bike and I spend 5, 6, 7 hours on my bike, I'm working. I'm creating something.
Which is a big lesson, I think, for companies, that you don't have to be in the chair or at the desk to be creative.
Quite the opposite. Like this exercise, or I'm going to sit and start thinking, what can I do now? That doesn't work.
Going online and trying to get references, that doesn't work. Which a lot of us default to because that's the mechanism.
It's every single person is going to have their own thing. That's the important part. Like, I have mine, but you have yours, and every single person is going to have something that makes them feel like that joy that's going to make you create something.
Mm-hmm. And everybody has their way to get it.
Whatever you dedicate your life.
I'm taking a lot of this on board. I'm going to go home and think about this. I know we have to kind of wrap this up a little bit.
We're the last one.
We are the last ones. Oh,
so there's no
amazing.
One next.
Okay.
We can wrap it up, or we can ask if someone wants to ask.
Yeah, I'd love to. Before I get to my final question, does anybody have any questions for Hector? Aaron. The question was, have you experienced burnout yourself?
Burnout?
Yeah.
No. Not really. No, honestly, I don't think I have that feeling ever. I can get stressed, but not burnout. I always find my way, somehow.
Seth?
How much of a break will you take before you work on Paradiso 2?
Don't tell this to my wife because she's
gonna kill you.
She's gonna kill me. She's been asking me for vacations, I don't know how long. I'm not. I'm already working. Look, actually, we already have dates for next year, and I already have the program done. So, I'm sorry.
Starts the next day.
No, I'm not having vacations. I'm going back home on Sunday, see my baby, which is a cat, Suki. and on Monday, I'm back to work.
Wow.
But that's what makes me happy. And yeah, we're gonna go a few days, I promise you.
Days, not weeks?
We're gonna go a few days to the beach, but the laptop is coming with me.
But you were so, I'd say I've heard, and you kind of suggested it. Like this is a retreat. Don't bring your laptop, your phones, no slides. But you're gonna bring your laptop on vacation.
I need it.
I'm trying to help you.
There's no other way to send emails. No, I really need to think a lot. I have so many ideas in my head right now. I just need to put them.
Get them out.
Yeah.
I get it. Anyone else?
In some point of your life, you had fear of suffering?
I what?
Fear of suffering?
Oh, did you have fear of suffering?
Because now I'm struggling with this as a creative block.
I had fear many times in my life, and I experienced that fear. But I'm not fear about the suffering, and I actually enjoy feeling fear about anything. But do you think that creative block is fear? Why are you scared? What's the point?
Maybe now it's about not taking risk. Because, I don't know, well, obviously it's a personal, right? But
Why do you think that you have a creative block? You created a couple of videos to promote your DJ session tomorrow. They're fucking awesome.
No. But in the other stuff, it's more like I need to have the control, and the control to me in my mental code, it's about don't risk or don't have this experience. But now in these 2 days, it's like, oh no, the feel is to take the risk. But now is how do you fight or struggle with this idea about avoid the risk?
What's holding you?
That's my question.
Comfortness?
No. Really I'm blocked about the answer. Because sometimes, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but sometimes it's, fuck, take the risk and do it. But in others is total control, no speculations, no emergency stuff, take the control. And sometimes to me, control means don't suffer. Don't suffer if in this case for the DJ, if the audience is getting bored or don't dance and in that case, the experience is not fun, and it's supposed to be fun.
But that's awesome. Look, every time I do something new, even when I was doing off, I have bad dreams, like really, really fucking nightmares. And I had a lot of nightmares before this week. But that's great, because if you feel that and you're having those nightmares, because in those nightmares you're just projecting all your fears, that means that you're doing something right. So fuck it, forget about the creative block. If you feel like this, it's because you're doing something right. And you have to believe it. And you have to believe yourself. And stop asking if you are doing the right thing, or if someone is going to enjoy it, or if your session is going to be good or not. I know you've been trying to talk to us and talk about the session and whatever you're preparing for tomorrow. Look, people are going to enjoy it, and they're going to go crazy and get drunk. That's the point. But seriously, just embrace it. Really. Use the nightmares. Use that fear for yourself. It's a great tool.
Someone else?
Hey.
Hola.
¿Qué pasa?
¿Qué pasa?
Can you tell us a secret?
Yes, always. But what kind of secret? Honey, help me. What kind of secret? Be more specific. I know where you're going.
Something that can help someone here.
I'm thinking.
You thought my questions were hard. You thought my questions were hard.
But that's because he knows me very well.
Uh-huh.
Look, my dream has been always being a film director. And I don't know where I went there, but anyway. And that's probably the only thing that I'm not proud of myself. And it's still, I know it's still right there, chasing me somehow. So my secret is that I realized long time ago that I suck at it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not good at it, which is fine, but it's painful to accept that because it will be always my dream. I mean, I always wanted to be a film director, and I have tons of ideas constantly and a lot of projects in my head that I wish I could do, but I know that I'm not good at it.
Why do you think?
But it's fine. I mean, I know I'm good doing many other things, and I keep studying, and I will study film and narrative and cinema the rest of my life until the day I die, and I can watch a movie seriously, easily 6-7 times per day, and I'm fine with it, and I keep studying, and I will keep studying.
Is that something that you think you'll push through later on in life and try again?
No, I won't.
No.
No. It's not my thing. But I love it.
Yeah. And you can enjoy other filmmakers.
No, and I enjoy the process. I enjoy learning. I think it's good, and I think it helped me with everything else I do.
Because there's a huge process to filmmaking in general.
And I actually teach narrative in schools, and I know how to do that. I know how to teach language. But if I have to direct something, as a director, I can do that. I'm just bad. That's it. It's fine.
What? I'm just curious. Like, what is it that was holding you back from that? Like, why do you feel like you're not good?
Because I have tried.
And you feel like you've tried enough?
Yeah, definitely.
Who's judging is good?
Huh?
Who's judging that those films are not good?
Myself. I'm the worst one. I know.
Because this is directing. What you're doing here is directing. That's true.
Yeah.
Calling everyone's doing their own performance.
Yeah, I get your point, but but I'm harder with myself. So, look, if I watch a movie from, I don't know, Terrence Malick or Xavier Dolan, I just hate them. Because I wish I could do something like this, but I know I can. And I understand the language, and I can read it, and I can see it clearly, and I know why they have done it like this. I can see the lines, like in Matrix, at the end of the movie when Neo realizes everything and see the codes and understands everything. That's what I do with movies. I can see everything and I understand it, but then when I have to do it, no way. It doesn't work.
Do you think, is it because you want to be the best? Like, you want to be great? And so that's why you haven't put something out?
No, I don't think so.
No?
It's not that... Yeah, I know. But, I mean, you have to put yourself in it. That's what I love, what I can do. It's a sickness.
Set the bar high.
Huh?
Set the bar high.
Yeah. But he's not the worst. I mean, the one that I will truly become, like if I have to choose, you can become someone else in your life. Spring Breakers. Ayúdame, Mau. Harmony Corinne. Yeah.
He didn't start as a filmmaker.
Huh?
He started just scriptwriting.
I know.
There's a humble beginning in everything.
And what I love
Sucks.
what I love from Harmony Corinne, honestly, is that he doesn't care about anything, and he does whatever the fuck he wants in his own way, whatever it works or not. That's amazing, and that's what I love from him. Besides that, I love the movies, all of them, every single one of them. And that could be easy if you feel like this, like you can do whatever you want and not caring about whatever people is going to think about. But anyway, we got into something dark.
But I think there's something there about, I deal with it sometimes myself. It's like you want to try to be the best, and so sometimes you just don't put something out. And there's the process of maybe not achieving the 100%, but still putting it out, so you can actually start to learn and receive feedback, like you're saying, feedback from other people that might help shape your creative process.
I don't know. Look, I'm gonna use him because, and this is true. I'm saying it from the bottom of my heart. I think Mau Morgo, which I don't know if you know him, but he's gonna talk tomorrow. You shouldn't miss his talk. Seriously, I think he's one of the most talented persons in the world right now, and I truly believe that. And I really envy what he does. Every single project that I see from him, I feel like, oh shit, I wish I could do something like this. But that's a good thing. It's not the type of envy like, yeah, I hate you because you can do this and I can. No, it's like, it's admiration, you know, like, fuck, this guy, it's fucking amazing and he's so talented. And I know I can do other things, but I wish I could do something like this. One day, just one day, once, you know? But that feeling, it's good. It's nice, you know? I feel joy with that. That's why he's here.
Thank you for everything that you've done and, you know, for everybody here and everybody that's not here, everyone that's going to watch this. I really appreciate all that you've done for the creatives in our field, and you're continuing to like just keep reinventing the wheel and reinventing yourself. And this is an amazing few days. And I think speaking on behalf of everybody, we really appreciate you bringing us here to be with everybody and meet new people and have all of these conversations and these discussions. And it's been an inspiration. So, I do have one really last question. What is next for Paradiso? Are you going to continue? Is it going to stay in Mérida? Is it going to move? What's happening?
Now we're going to stay in Mérida.
Yeah.
We're going to do it next year again. And there's some ideas to have a Paradiso in Asia, but we'll see. For now, we're here and we're going to do Paradiso next year in Clowes.
Okay. Well, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Love you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Object, Subject, Form. If you enjoyed the conversation, please rate, subscribe, or leave a comment. It helps us keep the momentum going and reach more like-minded listeners like you. Don't forget to share this episode and follow me using the links in the description to stay connected and join the conversation.